Today, I'm going to be showing you advanced website animation techniques in DaVinci Resolve Fusion. It's going to be in-depth, complex, and a lot to take in, but the finished result, I can assure you now, will be worth the effort.
Wow.
Get your notepads ready because there's going to be a lot of information. And these are techniques that I've been literally using for years. My name's Dan, and you're watching DanVinci. Of course, in the description, I'll have the assets for this video, so if you want to follow down to a T what I'm doing, then you can. Okay, so I'm in DaVinci Resolve now, and of course, before we actually start using DaVinci Resolve to make this website animation, we're going to need a website. Now, you might have your own website, you might have a client wanting a website animation, so I'm going to quickly show you how to gather the assets that you're going to want to create this animation. Now, the first technique is using your snipping tool. If you just search snipping tool in Windows, you should have it installed by default, and it will bring up this little control bar here. And what you can do is create new and just select the area that you want it to take a screenshot of. Now, this is great, but it is limited. The benefit of this is that it's a low resolution screenshot of a page, which means it's fairly easy to run if you have a slow computer, but it doesn't show the whole page. And that's where my second technique to capturing your asset, your website, comes into play. Now, I'd recommend you download a Chrome extension, for example, this one called Fireshot, which enables you to capture the entire page of the website that you're on. So I'm here on the website and I don't even need to full screen. I just go over to the extension tool here, click on the one that I want, and then just click capture entire page. And you'll just need a moment to capture the whole thing, but within a second, I've got a giant screenshot of the website, which is nice. All right, so I'm in DaVinci Resolve and I've dragged my two images that I've just grabbed from the website into my media pool. The techniques I'm going to be showing you today can be applied to both of these screenshot files. Now what we want to do is create a fusion composition. Wow, a fusion composition. Go into Effects, open up your toolbar and search Fusion Comp. There we go, Fusion Comp. Drag that into your edit timeline, just like so. Make sure you figure out how long you want your fusion composition to be. You don't want it to be 6 million years long, but you also don't want it to be too short. You want to be able to really enjoy the clean smoothness of your website animation. Cool, so jump into Fusion on that Fusion clip and you'll be greeted with the Fusion page. Don't panic, it's fine. I'm going to guide you through the twists and turns that is Fusion. So we have our media out here, and what we can do is we can select which screenshot capture of the website that we want to use. Today, I'm actually going to use the simple one, simply because I want this to run as quick as possible, just for tutorial purposes right now. And if we click one on our keyboard here, we can see the screenshot that we've created. Now, the first step in Fusion in DaVinci Resolve is we want to isolate our different subjects. And what I mean by subjects, these little guys here, the icons, the text, anything that's a distinct shape or figure within the still, you want to potentially isolate it. Now, this all comes down to your personal preference, if you want a certain thing to move or not. If you really want this parallax effect to really sell and look as best as possible, you're going to want to isolate as many different icons as possible. What we're going to do is we're going to make a lot of copies of this screenshot. Now, this icon here is your polygon shortcut button. You can drag this down and it will create a polygon node. If you've used masking before in the color page, for example, or in any other software, this is the equivalent. Making sure we've clicked one, showing our screenshot in the preview, and then we've got the polygon one selected. We can zoom in on our icons here. And what we can do here is we can just cut out our individual assets. Now, obviously I could cut out all of these individual circles, but I'd be here all day and filming this video would take a million years. Trust me, I've done it before. It does take a long time. If you have the time and you want to create a fantastic effect of the website, then go ahead and do that. But you'll need the patience of a rock. You need a lot of patience, which I don't have. So now that I've done this, the polygon one, if you click the output here and drag it over to the screenshot, it will snap into place. You can see the cutout that I have of our first asset. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C on the screenshot and create a copy by doing Control V. And then I'm going to basically do the same thing that you've just seen there over and over again, cut out all the assets that I want to have move around as separate objects. When you're cutting out your assets, I'd recommend you cut them out to the line. As you can see on your screen here, I'm cutting around every single square, because when an object passes over another object, for example, something that's in the foreground and something that's in the background, you want it to pass over like it's a real object and not have this ugly square in the background, if you understand what I mean. An example of this will be on your screen now. And then we'll be ready for the next stage, which is applying this into a 3D plane. And I know that sounds complex. Don't worry, it's going to be easy. So on your screen now, you can see I'm basically cutting out every single individual object object that I want to basically have a parallax effect applied to them. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Just trust me. Great, so I've cut out all the individual assets that I want to use. And you might have a fusion tree that looks a little bit something like this. Now, the last one, I used 2 rectangle nodes, which are these ones just here, just to cut out the remainder of the website. I could cut out the rest, but I don't think it's going to be necessary for this tutorial. This is going to be more than enough to give you an idea of how to use these techniques to create this 3D parallax effect. So now what we want to do is put these all on image planes. So we want to just basically, when we add them, click Control Space while selecting our object that we want to add into a 3D plane and search image plane 3D. Apply this, and it may just mess up your node tree a little bit and just move things over, but there you go. Oh, there you go. Simples, right? Very simple. Super simple. Then what we want to do is click Control Space and add in a transform 3D node like so. And what I'm going to do just for ease is I'm going to Control C this and basically just paste this over and over again, just below every single node that we've created like that. Simples, right? And I just basically Control V'd and just pasted that along here, so it didn't take long. Then what we want to do is just obviously attach each individual object to each individual plane, like so. How many times can I say simples? Simples. Great. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my media out and I'm going to create a background node, which is this icon just here. If you drag that down, it'll create a background node, and I'm going to drag the output over to my media out, and it's going to create a nice black output like that. That's fine. And then it's just going to go on the background here, and I'm going to make this nice and white like so, because this is going to be the background of our animation. And because the website's white, it just makes sense to make the background white. Then it'll just all blend into one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Space and search merge. What we're going to do is use the merge 3D node here. And then I'm going to search camera 3D. And then I'm also going to search, while selecting merge 3D, renderer 3D. Then from here, you can select the render 3D output and apply it to the background output just here, and it'll create a normal merge. If you guys have used basic Fusion node trees, you might be familiar with this merge node. But this merge node here and this merge 3D node behave in completely different ways. Let's drag the output transform 3D of the first screenshot that we've got into our merge 3D, and then click 1 on our merge 3D, and we'll be teleported into Tron Legacy. Not really, it's just the 3D edit tool in DaVinci Resolve. You'll see here we have a camera, which is this camera node, and our object, which is really small right now, just there. There you go. And that's our first object, our first cutout in a 3D space. Wow. What we can do is click our camera 3D, and you'll see it will create our arrows in which we can control the camera. So I'm just going to grab the blue arrow here, click it, and just drag it out. And you'll see here in the output, basically coming to view of the camera. There you go. Look at that. How amazing. Here's a technique that I use all the time to make sure that the website that you're building in the 3D world of DaVinci Resolve lines up with the website roughly in reality. So what I do is I Control C a normal screenshot like this. So I'd Control C, copy that, and then Control V down here, this screenshot. Then I'm going to grab the output of this and drag it to the output of the merge node just here. This will create another merge node, and it will slap it on top of the 3D output of your camera. Now what you can do is just size this up to however you want it. So maybe something like this I'm happy with. Then selecting the merge here, go into the right corner and open the inspector, and you can drag the blend down just like this so it's half its original opacity. And then you'll see here our object, which is this object just here, poking through. So what we can do is move the camera by clicking the transform controls here in the inspector while selecting the camera just down here, is we can move it around here and line it up with our screenshot. So if we just move it around using the Z axis to move the camera closer, making it seem bigger. There we go. Brilliant. So that's lined up, and this will become handy later on in a big way. So now I'm just going to attach everything to my merge node. And don't be afraid, if you've used Fusion before, to attach everything to this one single node, because that's what you can do with merge 3D nodes. They can take a lot of inputs, and I mean a lot. As you can see in the 3D world, our assets are populating. Great, so I have all of my 3D objects now created. And what we can do here is go into the merge here and just turn this off, and you can see, oh, I've missed some buttons there. Ignore that.
Whoops, sorry.
But you can see here, everything's lined up perfectly. Now let's just leave this on half. What I'm going to do now is move these individual objects in this 3D space closer, so into the foreground, and then further away into the background at random. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the transform 3D of one of my objects, and this first object was these buttons here, and I'm going to grab the pivot tool in the inspector of the transform node, and I'm just going to pick the pivot and just drag it over there. And this usually works quite well, and it's moved the anchor point into the center. This is important for scaling, so if we want to increase the size of this object or decrease the size of the object if we move it closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this object closer to the camera, so like so. So this object is now close to the camera, and as you can see, see the object has become bigger. And the way we combat this is we bring down the scale of that object right the way down. And because we've moved that anchor point, it scales down in the center of it. So as you can see on your screen, I've moved this into place. Now it's not perfect. You're never going to get this absolutely perfect. And if you do, well done, you have the most patience in the world. But yeah, do this over and over again, moving your objects closer or further away from the camera. I wouldn't recommend doing it too far, because if you make it too extreme, you might not see some of the assets until the last second in the animation. Obviously scale them up and down dependent on how close they are to the camera, and so that they line up with the real website. And then you're ready for camera animation. Now the prep is finally done. And I hope you guys haven't found that too tedious and too boring. But now for the fun stuff. So we can bin off our template now and get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. It was just so that everything lined up. Now what we can do is making sure we have merge 1 in our preview just here. And we can see here we've got all our objects in different areas, which is nice. And you can already see a bit of a parallax going on there. That already looks super cool. Now all we need to do is move the camera from A to B, and the objects will just move for us. So I'd recommend before moving the camera, you use the target tool. And in the inspector in the top right corner, while on the camera node, you'll see this little button here under the transform controls called use target. So if you click this, it will basically mean that the camera will fixate on this particular point. So it'll basically just sort of look at that one point at all times. Brilliant example, like a chicken, when you're carrying a chicken, and its head just sort of stays in the same place. I'm going to keep it exactly where it is just for ease here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera to a point in which I want it to start. So if I bring this down, you'll see the camera rotating by itself. Lovely, like that. There we go. And I'm going to create some keyframes, and then I'm going to go to another point in the timeline, and I'm going to put these basically to 0 like that, and then move the camera back so that it lines up perfectly, showing the website like so. There you go. Then I'm going to just quickly customize the keyframes so it's not just a linear line. So if we go into the spline here and then click on the camera controls, you will see the keyframes that we've just created, like so. If I select these and click S on my keyboard to create an ease in and an ease out, then I'm going to click T. I'm basically just going to make it ease in, and I'm just going to make it slow down right towards the end of the animation. And there we go. We've got a really nice parallax 3D animation effect, and it didn't actually take too long to create. Now that with this technique, what's great is that you can move the camera anywhere. So you can create multiple animations with the same template. On your screen now is the same assets that I've used in the same exact place, but the camera is moving in a different way, making a completely different animation. So although it takes a long time to prep, because of that prep, you can create 5 or 6 different animations quite quickly. Another great tip, if you click on the renderer 3D node and then go into the inspector, if you click render type and change it to hardware renderer, what you can do is then click the accumulation effects, click enable, and then from here you can adjust and create focal blur just like a real camera. This creates that really nice depth with the animation, although I would recommend that you use this if you have a powerful computer. If you're doing this on a basic laptop or a basic PC, I would steer clear of this because it will crash your PC quite literally. I'd recommend decreasing the amount of blur, as this reduces the load on your PC if you're really desperate to have that focal blur, but you don't necessarily have a powerful computer. Clicking on the camera node, you can adjust the focus of the camera using this focal plane control just here. But that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. It's quite an intense one. Although there's not a great deal of animation, there is an awful lot of prep. I'll leave links in the description to all the assets and information that you need for this video, so do feel free to go down there and have a little look for yourself. And obviously, get subscribed. This is a YouTube channel after all, and I am a YouTuber, and by law, I have to say, get subscribed. My name's Dan, you've watched DanVinci. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. I'm weird.